Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with Pacific Nut Producer Magazine, reporting to you from the annual Grape, Nut, and Tree Fruit Expo here at the Big Fresno Fairgrounds. I'm here with Richard Waycott from the Almond Board of California. Just gave a great State of the Industry presentation. We always appreciate hearing from you, and back in person, more importantly. Wanted to get an update from you on what's going on in the almond industry. We just came through a real busy harvest. What are the results?
Great. Well, thank you, Matthew. It's great being here and great to be back in person and have donuts and coffee again. And you could just feel the vibe walking around here that the industry members are just thrilled to be able to greet each other in person again. So, we came out with our October position report yesterday, and what it reveals is, number one, that so far the receipts, the crop receipts this year, 3 months of data, is more or less tracking with last year. Last year was that super duper 3.1 billion crop. I think it's tracking so far because the hulling and shelling capacity, plant capacity, is pretty much fully utilized. It was last year. I think it is again this year. So it's not that indicative of what the overall crop is going to be eventually, but so far it's tracking. In terms of shipments, we had a really down month, unfortunately, both domestically and export. Domestically, I think just because there's the advent of this large crop and real difficulties exporting because of the port problems, and therefore there's more inventory, and therefore buyers are probably a little more reluctant to book long-term contracts. On the export side, again, we're just suffering the sort of crippling impacts of the congestion and the lack of port of call in Oakland specifically. We export 80% of almonds through Oakland, and I don't see any quick remedy to any of this, unfortunately. So we're gonna have a few months here that are probably going to be really difficult. Having said that, we had a pretty good month in China. Japan's ahead of last year in terms of their imports, but a lot of the rest of the world, I think, is seeing again this congestion and also just not knowing when their loads are going to arrive. A lot of things are being shipped out of the West Coast, and they have to be transshipped in Singapore or Hong Kong or someplace else. Even Colombia, I heard, Cartagena, they're doing transshipments on the way to Europe. I heard that yesterday from a German company. So there's just a lot of crazy logistics going on right now that has buyers a little bit apprehensive.
As far as the crop goes this year, though, we had the initial crop estimate versus the objective, right, was 10% difference. Can you tell us a little about, why that was and how the crop ended up looking?
Sure. So we came off again last year of a 3.1 billion pound crop, the largest we've ever had. The subjective estimate, which came out in May for the 2021 crop, was 3.2, so slightly larger. And then the objective estimate, which came out in July, was 2.8, so 400 million pound swing. It's a little more than 10%, which is a pretty major adjustment in terms of the outlook. So far, again, I think we're probably tracking more or less with that number. We'll see over the next month or so, but it should be certainly a smaller crop than last year.
And with the smaller crop, are we seeing price points going up?
Well, we did. We saw a real spike in pricing back in July and August. And then the advent of these export difficulties, primarily. Also, some talk that the crop might be a little bit larger than 2.8, but essentially it's the export difficulties that's creating this backlog of shipments and more inventory on our side than we'd like, and so that's just depressed pricing again.
Well, hey, thank you so much for the update, Richard, and for your generous support of the Almond Board in sponsoring the Grape, Nut, and Tree Fruit Expo today. And we look forward to hearing more about it in Pacific Nut Producer Magazine. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.